My boyfriend doesn't satisfy my needs and selfish in bed. My boyfriend and I are both 20 and have been together for over 2 years now. We have sex pretty often and it's always the same. We kiss for like 5 minutes, I suck his D and we go straight into sex. When he comes, sex ends there. It has started to frustrate me because I don't get to finish. We don't have foreplay and he rarely eats me out. I have told him before if he could eat me out and he told me, no, because then you will finish before we even have sex. He claims it's more enjoyable for him. I would even just appreciate it if he rubbed or fingered me. I have spoke to him about it and he always says how he will change but doesn't. It's become more frustrating because I don't finish. It's as if he doesn't care if I do as long as he does. It also really annoys me because I make sure I please him. I give him random blowjobs, handjobs. I would love if he returned the favor. Anyways, can I get advice? How do I bring it up, or will this feeling go away? Sorry if this comes off as negative. I love my boyfriend and don't plan to dump him over this. Why are you giving him everything he wants then when he can't bother to do anything in return? Don't suck his D anymore, and better yet, dump the loser. You're only 20 and you're already suffering like this. Next time you have sex, pretend to finish really early on, and then just get up and be done before he gets a chance to. Let's see how he feels when you don't care for his pleasure. Hopefully, he'll change his tune after that. Touch yourself in front of him, that he wants to start sex, then finish and roll over. It's more enjoyable if I finish before you. Now I have a migraine, too bad, but I'm petty. No, seriously, if he doesn't care if you are satisfied or not, don't satisfy him. He will not start to change if he gets what he wants and you let him walk all over you. Does he know girls can finish multiple times? Maybe an anatomy biology lesson is all that's needed. My boyfriend kept having intercourse with me after I said it hurt. Title pretty much sums it up, but basically, I, 22 female, haven't been wanting to have intercourse due to past trauma that he's 22 male aware of. I get periods of just not wanting to be touched in that way. He's very sexual and has been since we started dating. Lately every time he talks me into it, it feels like a chore and I just say I'm free use, so he can just do it while I lay there on my phone because I don't even have the energy to pretend I want to. This last time, he asked if we could and I grunted and said fine, but I'm gonna be free use again, and he agreed. But once he got in, it hurt a lot. I winced and told him it hurt a lot and he didn't say anything, just slowed down but kept going. It hurt pretty much the whole time and I know he knew that and waited until after he finished to ask if I was okay. I told him it hurt a lot during, and that's all. And now I'm seriously considering just dumping him because I'm so done with how my feelings always come last. Thoughts? He should just use a fleshlight. And you should never have sex with someone when you don't want to. Wearing you down is disrespectful. You being on your phone during sex would make most people not want to continue, but obviously this idiot doesn't get it and doesn't care. You should absolutely dump him. You deserve better. Your body isn't free use. It's not his to use. It's yours to give if you want to and only if you want to. I told my boyfriend I want a child before 30. Throwaway account because my boyfriend follows my main. I 25, F. Told my boyfriend 27, M. of 8 years that I wanted a child before I'm 30 and he is trying to use the women in his family to convince me not to. I have been diagnosed with PCOS since I was 19 and have not been taking any medical contraceptives. We actively use different methods to not conceive. With my PCOS diagnosis, I was told there is a 70% chance that I would not conceive naturally. And that if I ever wanted to have children I would need to see a doctor to start the process. My plan was to stop using any methods of contraception next year and see how it goes until I'm 28. If nothing were to happen I would then actively try with the help of a doctor, fertility specialist. This would give me 2 years with activating trying to conceive. He told me this was okay 3 days ago and now he is throwing the women on his family WHO all had children young. That we should wait and be ready to sacrifice our lives for them being kids. A little backstory. Marriage. We have different views on marriage. I would really like to get married but he is strongly against. He says he doesn't want to pay so much money for a one-day event, pay so much money on a wedding. I've told him multiple times that a marriage and wedding are two separate things. And that I am okay with having a courthouse marriage wedding. Basically telling him I don't need a fancy wedding or to spend so much money on this. And that all I want is to spend the rest of our lives together as husband and wife. Thus this topic is in limbo. Women in his family, both his mother and sister, have had kids in their teens, and he is trying to have me sit down with them to discuss. Which I feel is basically, convince me to change my mind. The other women in his family either don't have kids or had them when they were older, which I feel is just not what I want. I want multiple kids at a younger age, for myself. I would love to know if what I want is reasonable or just to get a different sort of insight. Please help me. You want marriage and a family. And soon. He doesn't want marriage and he wants kids much later, if at all. It's not about your desires being reasonable or unreasonable, but rather that your desires and his are incompatible and this relationship won't have a future where you both are happy. If one person wants kids and the other doesn't, the relationship will end up with hurt feelings and resentment. But I am really confused as to why you think having kids with someone who does not want to even marry you is a good thing. I know you were with this guy since you were 17? There are people out there that will treat you right and will not need a family member to tell you what he doesn't want. If having kids is very important to you, then you need to break this off and move on. No child deserves to be brought into a world where they are not wanted. Play fight turned serious and boyfriend actually hit me. Firstly, this is all incredibly stupid. It's probably going to be long too. My 31F boyfriend, 27M, and I have been together for about 4 years. This morning we were goofing around, making jokes, making fun of each other in bed, and he started pushing me off the bed head first. He's about a foot taller than me and significantly stronger as he's very athletic, so I couldn't really do much to support myself. I was getting annoyed because I was worried about suddenly dropping and potentially hurting my neck and told him repeatedly to stop, stating that I could fall and hurt my neck. He didn't, laughing about me being afraid a 2-foot drop. I landed on the floor and he held me down for a second, laughing, and then let go. He jokingly told me not to get back into bed. I was still smiling, got into bed, and started smacking his butt. He told me to stop, but I was still messing around and told him he deserved to be spanked and kept smacking his butt. He suddenly got mad and hit my leg repeatedly, hard. It didn't register with me that he would actually be mad because we play fight often, so I flicked and smacked his cheek. The way you smack your own face when you're tired. I admit I was rough on his butt, but definitely not on his cheek. He was still mad and did the same thing, hit my leg hard, repeatedly. Obviously at that point I understood he was actually angry and got up to walk away. Some minor words of no consequence were exchanged and I removed myself so we didn't end up fighting. As I left I saw his roommate was home. At this point I want to explain our conflict styles. He insists on immediately discussing anything that's causing a conflict. He is generally very level-headed, right or wrong. He just doesn't get too visibly upset and will discuss things as calmly as he can. I, on the other hand, am a lot more sensitive and I'm a crier. I need personal space and will remove myself in order to calm down. Otherwise, if I'm not able to remove myself I will shut down. I have literally been unable to physically speak if I am too upset because a loved one is angry with me. It's a learned behavior from trauma as a kid. He knows this, he knows what causes it. I've put in the effort to work through it with him so we can both get the resolutions we need. But sometimes I really just need to walk away and calm down first, so I can actually have an open conversation without getting defensive. To be clear, neither of us has ever hit the other out of anger before this moment. My thigh was red, it didn't last from being hit. He came out of the bedroom and went downstairs, where I was, and asked if I wanted to talk. I said no. He started saying I was being manipulative, which just got me more upset. My only intention was to leave the situation and I didn't feel comfortable getting into an argument with his roommate home and potentially hearing us. He knew his roommate was home too. So, I started packing my things up to head home as I wasn't going to stick around his house while he was saying shitty things to me. He started being argumentative, so I stayed quiet and left without another word. He was heading out as well and saw me at the gas station, so he pulled in and we parked. He started saying he hit me to get me to stop. I was being manipulative. I was rude for leaving without saying goodbye, etc. I asked him about last week when he kept smacking my ass too hard every time I got up from the couch and kept asking him to stop. He said I should have hit him to make him stop, and because I didn't get mad at him he thought I wasn't serious. The conversation was cut short as he had to leave. He has told me when he was hurting me before and supposedly didn't understand I was serious when asking him to stop, that I needed to hit him to make him stop. He even asked if I wanted to hit him once when he did something shitty. Every time, I told him that I am not ever going to hit him out of anger. Now, I can see where these two butt-smacking, lol what the fuck is this, scenarios overlap. I didn't understand he was actually mad and he says he didn't in that previous situation. In both, we should have stopped as soon as the other said, stop, but he doesn't understand why I'm not okay with smacking each other to make our points. And despite knowing why it is I leave a tense situation, he is insisting I'm just trying to manipulate him. And he started asking if I want to stop talking to him like he's just fine with ending our relationship. TLDR. Boyfriend and I were play fighting. I was spanking him and didn't think he was getting upset when he said to stop. As a result, he repeatedly hit my leg hard and out of anger. He has said unless I hit him he doesn't understand that I'm serious about asking him to stop physically hurting me during playful moments and thinks him hitting me to get me to stop is normal. Neither of us has ever hit the other out of anger. I don't even know what to say at this point. Where do I proceed from here? I ignored his phone call and text this afternoon. I just don't know what the fuck to say and want to be alone. How do I approach this situation? Thanks and sorry for this absurdity. So, he's clearly lying to you here. If you escalate the physical violence, that's both you asking him to stop, and you also asking for him to hit you even harder if he ever gets angry? He can't have it both ways. Either one of them is true or the other. Someone else suggested it, but I'm going to repeat it. You need a safe word that will actually be listened to and instantly stops all of the roughhousing. His solution, escalating the violence, is a terrible, terrible solution, and is very likely going to result in one of you, probably you, getting badly hurt. I kept getting scared that I'd eventually read that you got punched in the face. That's where this sounds like it's going. IDK. Why don't you just stop play fighting? It's obviously not working for you because you don't understand each other's boundaries and it's too confusing for you in the moment. He didn't stop when you said to and then you didn't stop when he said to. If my boyfriend even lightly smacked my face I would be really unhappy.